A man in court charged with Monica Cantwell's murder. Our national symbol, the kiwi, now facing a new threat. And for some of tomorrow's schools, the funding doesn't add up. Good evening. An Auckland man is in prison tonight after being charged with the murder of English tourist Monica Cantwell.
Tonight, on their way to Kenya to help a sick man remember. Londoners face a second blitz as another bomb explodes. And somebody's taking the mickey at the country's unlikeliest dog show. Good evening. Londoners face a second blitz today after a second IRA bomb in 2 days.
This is 3 National News with John Hawkesby.
Tonight the ink's dry and so far at least the Bosnian peace deal is holding. Digging out after the deluge, but the south's not a pretty sight. And why mouse droppings that came as a sudden shock weren't sudden enough for the insurance company. Good evening. Written in ink, paid for in blood. The Bosnian peace deal was signed in Paris today in a mixture of relief and reluctance.
In 3 News tonight, scramble. The troops get their orders for the Gulf.
The government has today agreed to commit support to the coalition.
You know the drill, but do you know how dangerous the fillings in your mouth are?
Of hate and murder and lying and kidnapping and thievery.
Was it all a fuss about nothing? A controversial visitor passes through.
And how your taxpayer dollars are funding the most exclusive pool in the country.
This is 3 News with John Campbell and Carol Hirschfeld.
Good evening. The war paint's going on and the drums are beating. Tonight on 3 News, a waka goes aground at Waitangi before the celebrating even starts.
Damp weather threatens to put a dampener on the biggest night of the millennium.
Love is all we need.
Ex-Beatle George Harrison is attacked in his home by a nighttime intruder.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
And we take a look back and a laugh at some of the century's most embarrassing moments.
This is 3 News with John Campbell and Carol Hirschfeld.
Got a good evening. A major rescue operation is happening near Waitangi in the Bay of Islands.
This is 3 News with John Campbell and Carol Hirschfeld.
Kia ora, good evening. Tonight, an extended 3 News as we bring you coverage of the horrific events in the United States.
3 News Update is brought to you by AXA, world leaders in investments and insurance.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Bradley updating 3 News this hour. Tonight on 3 News, the multi-million-dollar government-paid message goes out: save power or else.
Which means we could be in for power cuts. And cold showers.
A murder mystery near an idyllic beach north of Auckland. Police want to know who the victim is. Here come the clowns out to protect their identity. They say they're funny, not scary. The small town of Wanganui strikes it big with a $9.8 million lotto win. And the Highlanders' chance of making the Super 12 semis hangs in the balance after losing to the Waratahs.
This is 3 News with Hilary Barry and Sean Summerfield.
Kia ora, good evening. A massive campaign is underway to get New Zealanders to save power.
This is 3 News.
Tonight on 3 News, lunch with a twist. We reveal what made the president wink at 3 News' Duncan Garner.
The Kiwi barge that somehow a boat full of Australians didn't spot and fatally crashed into.
And an emergency beneath the Arctic ice, the mistake that killed 2 British sailors.
This is 3 News with Mike McRoberts and Hilary Barry.
Kia ora, good evening. Helen Clark and George Bush have met, even lunched together. Lobster was on the menu. Tonight on 3 News, the curious and cruel coincidence that's seen a child kill his own son killed.
The Kiwi entertainer guilty of a sex attack, what the judge was willing to reveal and what he wouldn't.
Why the Auditor General's decided to clear Bill English over the housing allowances.
We're there as the Michael Jackson farewell shows kick off around the world. Yes, this is really it.
And why a popular Australian biscuit has fired up claims its makers are being racist.
This is 3 News with Hilary Barry and Mike McRoberts.
Kia ora, good evening. There's been a bizarre and tragic new twist in the case of Wanganui's baby Gia.
Today on 3 News at 12. I'm Laura McDonald down at Parliament, where a convoy of vintage military vehicles is getting ready for the Anzac Street Parade. The Prime Minister has spoken with the Emir of Qatar about the Doha Mall tragedy, which claimed the lives of 3 Kiwi triplets. There's fresh speculation about Dean Barker's future. Could he contest the America's Cup for a Japanese team?
Darling, that really hurts!
And it's 10 years since the first video was uploaded to the world's greatest time waster.
Three News at 12 with Susie Nordquist.
Kia ora, good afternoon. A convoy of vintage military vehicles will make their way through Wellington today for the Anzac Street Parade.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the very first edition of News Hub Live at 6.
Kia ora, good evening. A warning, our first story contains some confronting details.
Prince Harry wants you to hear the truth from him. They're not walking away.
Kiwi housing severely unaffordable. What hope is there for the middle class?
And huge hailstones and dust storms. Terrifying weather sweeps Australia.
Kia ora, good evening. Prince Harry said today he wants us to hear the truth from him and that he and Meghan are not walking away.